Click on. I very much like President Trump standing up for Christians in Nigeria. And no, this isn't about Nigeria bad. This is about Islamists bad. But never, ever question Tucker Carlson's ability to get it wrong on this. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's doing it. Maybe he fully well believes it. But from anybody, this would be an ugly sophist argument. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. It's just an aging room Maduro right here. Simple cigar for the day. Let's begin. We are still shut down. Everyone wants to blame everyone, and I'm told that I all of a sudden have to care because people aren't able to feed their kids. I say to you right now, head over to your local food pantry and help feed kids. This is about private charity. This isn't about public assistance. The more I hear about public assistance, the more you clearly understand that this has to come to an earth-shattering end. This was a story, a legit story that aired on local television.
The first thing I did was grab my phone and call, and when I heard $0, my chest went into my throat.
Maggie Aragon has been a SNAP recipient for more than 3 decades. Even with these benefits, she says she also relies on food banks to get enough food.
This is a story out of New Mexico. Did I say hello, Tony Katz today? I forget sometimes. This woman has been getting food stamps for 30 years. Only a Democrat would think that's a successful program. It's not a successful program. It's anything but a successful program. That is 30 years, 3 decades long of absolute dependency. We should not be looking at that and saying, thank goodness we have these benefits. Now, I don't think that we should be taking a look at the ending of these benefits because of the shutdown and say, well, that's a good pressure point. Not at all. There are people who really need help. I want to give help to people who really need help. I do think this thing can be handled via private charity. But we can't deny that we have a fundamental issue here regarding people who are on these programs and are now squeezed by the dependency of those programs. The evil that is. And still, you cannot get me to make the statement that I should get worked up about the shutdown. I think I should help my fellow man who actually needs the help where I can. And I think we all should. But I absolutely am not going to listen to the political left scream to me, look how Republicans are killing children. No, Chuck Schumer's killing children, killing babies. Like what? Oh, I'm sorry, only the left can talk like that? No. Chuck Schumer wants babies to starve. Chris Van Hollen wants babies to starve. Dick Durbin wants babies to starve. This is the way we do it now. Alex Padilla wants babies to starve. I don't know why they do. They would vote for ending the shutdown. They'd vote for the continuing resolution if they didn't want this, but they don't vote for it, so they must want it. Is that how we play our game? This is why I refuse to get worked up. This is why I refuse to engage in that way. I don't mind if the political right hits like that. I don't mind if they hit Chuck Schumer directly in the mouth with that kind of talk, with that kind of rhetoric. I'm old enough to remember when they told me that Paul Ryan was going to push grandma off a cliff. You will learn, political left, that eventually it all comes back. Your biggest argument is that the political right isn't caving like they're supposed to. That's your biggest argument. That's why you think the leverage has been better and better and better and better for you. You think the longer this goes on, the better it becomes for you because you'll get more leverage against the political right. And what we have seen from conservatives, Republicans, is that they're willing to go along with this. Go ahead, keep going. Keep going. We're going to keep having our daily press conference with Mike Johnson. We're going to keep pushing. Now, President Trump, with his desire to end the filibuster, I mean, that's not helping any. He's just wrong because as a matter of strategy, he's just wrong. But this can be solved, and yet it isn't. So what do we do? First, I don't get worked up. If someone doesn't get a paycheck, I'm sorry. It's not that I want it. It's that I can't do anything about it. My senators have voted for the continuing resolution. I'm moving on with my day. I cannot help the air traffic controller. I cannot help the member of the military or anybody else who isn't getting a paycheck. I can give food to my local food pantry, and I will. That's already been arranged. That is something we all can do because there are people who are absolutely going to need the help. And I am not going to say to somebody, well, you shouldn't take that government job when we're talking about whether or not they can feed their kids. That's crazy. I'm not interested in living that life. But get pressured by the Democratic Party and think that the Republican Party should give in because of it? No. I plan on supporting the position of the Republican Party on this one because Chuck Schumer needs to lose because the position that he has put America in is something that he should have to deal with the consequences of. He did this. And savagely, Democrats are going along with him. Why the heck would you go along with him? Now, there's a big theory that with the elections that are coming up tomorrow, this all ends on Wednesday. Somehow this is rallying their base and getting people excited for these elections. I'll get into that. I had heard the same thing about it. They were keeping this going on until the No Kings rally. Right? So important to have these No Kings rally. There are no kings. If Trump was a king, there wouldn't be a shutdown. But he's not a king, so there is a shutdown, only proving that everybody involved with No Kings is a moron. We could say a lot of that. We can discuss a lot of that about who within our government and who is engaged in support of nonsense is in all ways a dang fool. I think we should. We should note those people. And right now the Democrats are playing the part of the fool. We need to continue the subsidies on Obamacare. Well, I guess Obamacare doesn't save anybody any money. Obamacare doesn't work because you need to subsidize it to get people to want it. We could say that about a lot of things. Now, we could say it about government programs. We could say it about farmers. We could say it about a host of things. Obamacare was supposed to lower costs. And now you need subsidies. But Democrats voted to end the subsidies at the end of 2025 and now want to paint the picture that Republicans are ending the subsidies. No part of this is true. And I don't care if Obamacare has subsidies or not. I'm the one paying the subsidy. I don't want to pay the subsidy. Tony, you're just mean and heartless and children. No. I don't want anything that furthers us down the road of government-run healthcare because government-run healthcare doesn't work. You know how I know this? Government can't figure out how to keep the government open. What makes anybody think they can run healthcare? My work here is done. That took all of 7 seconds. I'm going to go back to my cigar. Hold on. This is the aging room. Churchill here. This is a box press Maduro easy cigar. You can sometimes find them on sale for like $5-6 a stick. So I'm like, yeah, sure, for the show, and I'm putting it down all the time. Works great. See how easy that is? You tell me that these things are important and government needs to take hold of this. And then you see how government runs. You're like, why would you let government take care of your health care? Anyone who considers government controlling their health care hopes to die. How is that a false statement? It's just factual as can be. Let Bernie Sanders try and explain it again why we need government-run health care. He can't. He won't. He'll just talk about millionaires and billionaires like an absolute freak. Every answer is millionaires and billionaires. No, wait, it was millionaires until he became a millionaire, and now it's just billionaires. Gosh, that's convenient. How convenient is it of this judge, if you check out the show sheet over at TonyKatz.com, this federal judge that says, hey, you have to fund SNAP benefits, right? SNAP, the food stamps. A federal judge in Rhode Island made this decision, ordering the Trump administration to continue providing SNAP food benefits. How does that work? The money's not there. Well, you have to get the money. The executive branch has nothing to do with spending. They can't authorize funds. The funding comes from Congress. How in the world does this happen? How in the world do you force them to fund the program or spend the money? And what makes a judge think they can do this? Because if indeed you can order Trump to fund SNAP benefits, why can't you just order Democrats to vote for the continuing resolution? I mean, if we're living in just the worlds of pure fantasy, there's an argument that there is a contingency fund. The issue is that the program costs the United States taxpayer $9 billion a month, and the contingency fund only has $5 billion in it. You can't partially fund these things, so therefore we can't fund it. And now what Trump is saying is, hey, would you go back to the courts? He's telling his lawyers, and how are we supposed to implement this? Again, proving he's not a king. Going to the courts and saying, how in the world could you expect us to do this? Irrationality on all sides, every side, everywhere, all the time. And this same government thinks they can run healthcare. Fantastic. No. Here we are, day 34 of a shutdown. And I continue to remind you not to get worked up. But I say that and by the way, I would remind you to keep supporting the political right in this. Support the Republicans. This is on Chuck Schumer. Just vote for the continuing resolution because subsidies for Obamacare is a non-starter, which I'm going to lose that fight, by the way, because I guarantee you Trump is absolutely going to do it. He's going to do it. But when it comes to supporting our neighbors, who because of this shutdown or any other issue are having a hard time and need to feed their kids, your local food pantry, guys. Private charity is a good thing. And if you are financially able, I encourage you to give today. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Sorry about that with the volume. I didn't know what was going on with my chair. I feel very lumberjacky today. Right? Like this. This is a fun look. Anyway, good to be with you. Glad to be here. The worst part about this shutdown is that we still have to talk about it. That's the part that's most annoying. Is that still has to get discussed. I can't believe we still have to. I think that's the part that I'm most offended by. That we still have to go over this. There we go. Let's see. What else do I have? I had a bunch of stuff to get to. I don't know if there are any stories you think I need to get to. Let me know there immediately, if not sooner. Sorry, sending out a text. Thank you, producer Landon. 1 minute. 1 minute till the radio show. You guys know we've got a radio show that we do, right? So the radio show is on, and so we do the live stream in conjunction with the radio show. That's how this whole thing works, kids. I want to take a look at these elections, and something we already knew was coming is I think turning absolutely true. I have that story to get to. And then, we're going to get into the story of Christians in Nigeria and why this matters so incredibly much. And I'm very, very happy to hear President Trump talking about it. Very happy indeed. Meanwhile, the show is coming back, and we'll go from there. So a couple people have asked, what's your take on Harvard? And if you didn't hear, there was a weekend explosion at Harvard University, Harvard Medical School. Suspects on the run, as I have the story, the last I have from Fox News, happened in the early morning hours on Saturday, is what happened there. 2 masked suspects seen fleeing from the building. So I don't have an answer yet as to who or why. I have photos of suspects. I have thoughts on what I think, but I don't have enough data yet. Now, you might say to me, oh, Tony, you could say it. No, I think other people might say things. Me, I don't ever mind waiting. When it comes to what took place in Dearborn, oh, don't worry. I got things to say. The stabbing in the United Kingdom, I've got things to say. And of course, President Trump standing up for Christians. I have real things to say. I will get to that. Keep it right here. But no, I wanted to talk about the elections that are happening tomorrow. There's a bunch of things going on. First, if you take a look at the 2 big races for governor, New Jersey gubernatorial race, Virginia's governor race. And in those races, in Virginia, it drives me nuts that Spanberger, this Democrat, is leading Republican Winsome Earl Sears, the current lieutenant governor, by 12 points. Very, very disheartening. It is disheartening that the Democrat for Attorney General, Jay Jones, who said in text messages he wanted to kill Republicans and their kids, is still showing a 2-point lead against the incumbent. That's the insanity of the position of voting for a guy who said out loud, text message, but still, I want to kill the Republican leader of the House and kill his children. No Democrat feels the need to say, nope, that's wrong. Spanberger won't denounce. No, they don't denounce, and they get rewarded. And there's a lesson in this for Republicans. Do not ever allow them to dictate how we do anything. Now, us policing our own, if you will, like these morons with the stupid text chain about Hitler this and racism that, and everything. Yeah, those guys are going to be out of jobs. I didn't say we shouldn't have a standard at all. I just won't listen to a standard from those losers who are okay with voting for somebody who wants to kill kids. The New Jersey governor's race shows the Democrat Mickey Sherrill, I think it's Mickey, might be pronounced Mikey, edging out the Republican by basically less than a point. But it's a 2-point margin of error in the Atlas Intel poll. So who knows how this race is going to turn out? Don't have an answer there. And all of this in the backdrop of the New York mayor's race, where they're going to elect this communist Mamdani. They're going to elect this garbage. And guys like Hakeem Jeffries still will not endorse, and it's like, the future of the Democratic Party.
No, I think the future of the Democratic Party is going to fall, as far as we're concerned, relative to the House Democratic Caucus and members who are doing a great work all across the country as it relates to our need to both take back control of the House, but in doing so, make sure that we're communicating to the American people like, we understand you deserve better than the country that you have received. Donald Trump and Republicans have gone way too far and have failed to deliver anything meaningful for the American people.
Except a safe border. Some peace deals. Yeah. Aside from that, you're right, Hakeem Jeffries. But Mamdani is not the future? Well, that's going to be shocking to the political left, who says absolutely that commie is the future. And I think that's why the reporting that Nancy Pelosi may not seek re-election is absolutely accurate. But we discussed this a couple of weeks ago. She's not seeking re-election. She's done. She isn't speaker anymore. She isn't going to work her way back to leadership. She is older. It's over. The Nancy Pelosi days will soon be done. The problem for the Democratic Party is they have nobody who can rule like that. They don't have an iron fist anymore. They don't have anybody who can contain them, which means they move further and further to the left. Now, you say to me that's helpful to the right, and maybe that will be even more helpful when you see that Donald Trump is no longer president. They can't use Trump hate for everything. Oh, that's funny. Of course they're going to use Trump hate for everything. What you are witnessing now is how the Democratic Party will operate forever. Whomever the Republican is, worse than Hitler, worse than Trump. That's it. That's the modus operandi. As for these races, New York mayor, New Jersey governor, Virginia governor, tomorrow's election day, we will watch and see. There will be bourbon. This is Tony Katz today. Now, I had no plans of tracking the results. Maybe I should. I don't know. Should I live stream it? Should I live? I mean, it's going to be an interesting night. There's some other things going on. I could live stream it, just I don't know, but I would move it. I'd move it to the big table, right next to me, right over there. I've got the card table. Actually, it's a tabletop, but you turn it over, it's a poker table. We could set it up. Have some people watch results and just comment on the results, as opposed to doing like one of these. Maybe I'll do that. Just, basic cameras. And I don't know if other people are going to want to be on camera. I have a camera on me and I don't know. Maybe Newsmax will let me carry their results. That was a shadow, by the way. Looked like I had like goiter. That's a ridiculous thing to say on camera. Oh, good Lord. Let's see. What else are we missing? I do have a bunch. Including the economy. I've got that. Oh, I've got a whole thing on Kevin Roberts from Heritage. We're now using Kevin Roberts as the litmus test of whether or not you're a real conservative. We're crazy. We are out of our heads. There's that. There's this. There's that right there. There's this right here. There's this. Again, I was expecting Caroline Levitt to do a presser today. Yeah. I was absolutely expecting one. People putting out, oh, don't forget this about Mamdani or that. It's too late. This race is over. This race is 100% over. Mamdani is going to win this thing. There we go. I had a story about air travel. I don't know where it is. There we go.
Well, what is leverage? Their leverage is to hurt the American people, right? They're willing to hurt air travelers, whether they're going to a funeral, they're going to see family members. Pretty soon we're going to have kids coming home from college for Thanksgiving break. They're willing to endanger poor people who can't get food stamps. They're willing to risk subsidies in regard to health insurance. They don't care who they hurt. They care about power. By the way, we had an election a little less than a year ago, and Donald Trump crushed it. He won the popular vote. He won the 7 swing states. Democrats lost. And so if you want to pass legislation, you can introduce it, you can debate it, but government shutdowns trying to garner leverage is not the way that you do it. Debate it, vote on it, and then come back and try to win elections. But they lost. Donald Trump won. And to now say that you are going to hurt the American people so Donald Trump has to talk to you, that's not the way you do business.
It is the way they do business. And I do remind people, Sean Duffy, that's the transportation secretary. I do remind people that Barack Obama said, I won. Okay, you won. So now Trump won. This is the way it is. And this is why, when it comes to the shutdown, I don't think Republicans can relent. They should not relent. They are not the ones who have to relent. But air traffic controllers are not getting paid, and your flight is going to get delayed. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Find everything at TonyKatz.com, live streaming, YouTube.com/Tony Katz. So just look for me and then subscribe. Do that immediately and join the live stream. Air traffic controllers not getting paid. Flight delays are happening. This is going to continue. What no one has been able to answer is, let's say Wednesday comes, 2 days from as I speak to you right now. Wednesday comes and boom, Democrats declare victory. Don't ask why, right? What are they going to do? They're going to say, well, Trump beat us on this one. We care more about American families than Donald Trump do. And we'll try and trust him this time while we pressure him to giving more Obamacare subsidies, which Trump is going to do anyway, and then Democrats take credit for. It's going to be a thing. I'll call my shot on that. And then they vote finally to open the government. So let's say that's Wednesday. How soon before people get paid? I mean, it doesn't just kick right in, right? It doesn't work like that. So will it be another 3, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days before they get paid? The SNAP benefits, how does that work? How quickly does that kick in? I'm just curious as to what that response time is. Because all of this gearing up to Thanksgiving travel is bad stuff. My mother's going to get on a plane. Those who may remember her, Diane. So Diane used to be a quasi-regular guest on the show, right? And then my mother got sick, and I was like, yeah, that was not going to happen. My mother is much better now, but there's just in it, nothing ain't easy. Wait, no, ain't nothing easy. That's all there is to it. My mother's good and she's happy and life is good and all that jazz. And so she wants to come up for Thanksgiving. I'm like, come up for Thanksgiving. What are the odds that flight is going to work out okay? My mother, your grandmother, you're this, you're that, your uncle, your cousin, your brother. What flights do we think are going to work out okay? So when the shutdown affects the government worker, it's a thing. When the government shutdown affects people being able to feed their kids, it's a real thing. When the government shutdown affects you, it's a problem. I think I've gone through the proper stages of this. So I don't know. I do not know what the lack of funding has meant. On Friday, 80%, just about, I should say, 80% of air traffic controllers were absent from the New York area facilities. Which means all of those connections in those hubs not working. You had Austin Bergstrom International Airport under a ground stop for flights coming from Dallas-Fort Worth due to staffing shortages. Those delays were over an hour. And if you have any understanding of travel, like if you've ever been on a plane before, one delay begets another delay, begets another delay. And down the line. And it gets worse as the day continues. Newark Airport being limited to as few as 20 planes per hour. This was as of Sunday. The average delay for arriving flights, over 3.5 hours. I am just curious as to how soon these things will kick back in and what happens. Don't we have to redo this for November 21st? Isn't there another government shutdown scheduled for November 21st, which is to say another continuing resolution? That was the date I thought we were looking at. By the way, being reported from Federal News Network, this coming out before the weekend, agencies telling more than 700,000 federal employees that their time away will be extended another 30 days. Commerce, Justice, Homeland, NASA, GSA, which is the General Services Administration, they've sent out emails saying that you are on furlough until November 29th, the day after Thanksgiving. Oh, okay. I don't have the heart to tell my mother that there's no way that the plane's going to work. No, wait, the plane might work. There's just going to be no one to actually direct it. Oh, is she going to be angry? This is very personal. That is not going to be a fun conversation at all. There's a part 2 conversation. This is about how people feel about the economy. News Nation had this story. And the story was about how Trump's approval rating is down. Why is it down? Because people feel they're worse off financially now than they were in 2024. This was a poll from News Nation and the Decision Desk headquarters. 1,159 people polled. Let's walk through it a little bit. 39% of the people, 1,159 people were polled. 39% said they felt less economically secure year over year. Just 26% said they felt better off. 34% said neither better nor worse off. Now I'm looking at the full poll results here of who it is that they surveyed. It was Americans. I don't know if they asked about political affiliation. The margin of error is 2.9%. So if you know me from elections, general elections, I really dismiss polls that that have a higher than 3% margin of error, MOE. I dismiss polls that don't have at least 1,000 people in the poll. I move those two things to the side. And I don't, the conversation of registered voters or likely voters always comes into play. So if you take a look at the strongly approve and strongly disapprove of President Trump, you find that number is basically 50 to 49. Approve to disapprove. It's 50-50. Okay. Do you approve of the way the Trump administration is handling immigration policy? Well, this has 47% approve, 52% disapprove. 52% disapprove? No, they're not talking about immigration policy. They just don't like the fact that immigration policy involves returning people to their country of origin. They claim they want a safer border, but they don't actually want to do the work that gets you a safer border. There is a really interesting parallel to the story in the conversation of redistricting. But on the economics, when you take a look at this, 39% feel less economically secure, but 26% and 34%, 26% feel better off, 34% no difference. So you still have 60% saying that all is well. I believe that to be the case. I also believe that if you don't recognize that tariffs have had an effect and the economy isn't dreamy, that's silly. The economy isn't dreamy. It's okay to say. I would still argue that people feel better off with Trump in the White House because it creates more opportunity than it's certainly anything with Biden and that full-on malaise. Same thing was true regarding Kamala Harris. But I'm not surprised particularly by this. I don't think Americans are just dancing all the way to the bank. What's interesting is that the president's approval rating is 41%. Republicans' approval rating with likely voters is 47%. How weird. Because this is exactly the opposite of what took place in the election in 2024, where Trump, and you heard Sean Duffy talk about it, Trump won all these swing states. That's correct. But the Senate candidates didn't. Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, all swing states. The Republican candidate for Senate lost in all those states because the Trump brand was bigger than the Republican brand. Now we're seeing a reverse. Interesting. I think the president should be aware that people economically are still not feeling everything is great. Gas prices are down, no doubt. Egg prices are down, no doubt. Other prices are still too dang high. And there is still what it is we're spending because of tariffs. It's hard to get President Trump to get a conversation going about, hey, I know there's concern. Here's what we're doing. When the tariff is the thing he loves the most. And he thinks the tariff is responsible for all the good things and all the good investment. If it was a tactic, I'd agree with that. But does this poll, is this an indicator of, well, Democrats have something to capitalize on? They could, but they're Democrats. They're going to overplay their hand and they're going to lose the position because they can't just be normal. They want to go down this road. They are desperate to go down this road of Trump promised and nothing is better. But it's not true that nothing is better. Many things are better. But you'll see Democrats glom onto this, and you will see them go in directions so nutty that you won't believe it, because that's their history. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back. Tony Katz Today. A quick redistricting update, and I'll get more into it. The governor of Indiana called a special session. Of course, you guys know I've been paying attention to that greatly, and I went to the listening session in Terre Haute, Indiana on Saturday and spent 3 hours and listened. And now the Republicans are saying they'll do the special session in December so it could actually be part of the legislative session. So there's no special session. If I'm a betting man, you know what? Maybe I don't know what this all means, but it certainly does not sound like redistricting is coming. I favor it, but it does not sound like it's coming. Hold on one second. Anywho, I don't know why redistricting is so difficult for so many. Terre Haute or Terre Haute? Terre Haute. It's Terre Haute, right? Yeah, that's what I think. But someone the other earlier on the morning show was like, "You're pronouncing it wrong," and I'm like, "Your mother pronounces it wrong." So that happened. I don't know. I don't know how else you would pronounce it, producer Landon. But now they've just announced that they're going to move the special session into December. I don't understand what this is. It's ridiculous. And a follow-up question. A 1994 Porsche 968 convertible 6-speed. Right? I should buy this, right? I should buy this. As for there's a guy named Indie Reporter who got kicked out of the meeting that I was allowed in. That's just the point. I don't know why they got kicked out. I've never met Indie Reporter. I didn't see anything like that. But there was other news in there. I was in there. If there's some conversation about legitimate news, oh, that's a real issue. So I don't know what happened, and I don't know why it happened. I'll just leave it at that. I was discussing on my Cigar and Bourbon show, Eat, Drink, Smoke, that I have never once suggested to the family, hey, let's go out for lunch. Let's go get sandwiches. In my life, I have never once suggested that as a meal. It's not that I haven't grabbed a sandwich in my life. It's just I've never suggested it. Tony Katz today. Guys, good to be with you. What is happening? Today is National Sandwich Day. The problem is they've got a day for everything, but there are deals going on. Arby's has deals, but you got to be a part of their rewards members. Firehouse Subs is giving away free medium subs. You order $15 or more via Firehouse Subs app on this day to redeem it. Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, McAllister's, Mr. Pickle's Sandwich Shop. That's a West Coast thing. We don't need to pay attention to them. There's a lot of deals on National National Sandwich Day. Thank you, Tony. Learn how to talk, man. It's just radio. Subway offering $1 footlongs. And you also have to be a rewards member. Everything is a way to get you to have another app. How many apps can one person have? How many? And how many are you willing to join to get the deal? And how many people then delete them? So what is the value of the app on the phone for the company if no one's using the app? That's like that. Is there some kind of, well, maybe there's a number. If you have X number of users of the app, you're guaranteed to have this kind of return from it because just naturally. Meanwhile, preferred sandwich, turkey club, side of coleslaw. If I'm doing a sandwich, I want it to be Jersey Diner style. I have spoken. I have nothing else to say. I didn't even sign off. Nah. I laid my marker down and I walked away. That's it right there. That is totally it. Oh, good Lord. All right, so here's what's going on. Turkey Club. Yeah, I would eat one right now. That's right. Keep it right here. I'm Tony Katz. And to answer the question, why do I end things with I'm Tony Katz? It's nothing drives me crazier than listening to somebody on radio and they don't say who they are at the end, and then I have to wait through commercials or whatever else to find out who was just saying the thing. That drives me nuts. So that's one of the reasons I do it. And the other one is I like to sign my statement. So to me, it's like that is my John Hancock. I wanna put it down. This I said what I said. What would it be? Would it be imprimatur? Is that the correct pronunciation? Hold on, let me see if I can get the correct pronunciation here. Imprimatur. Thank you. I want it's boom. That's my seal of approval. I said it. I meant it. And I'm not hiding from my words. That's why I always do it. That is why. Here's the deal. We're taking the commercial break right now, radio side. We'll take the break here. We will get into what's happening with Christians in Nigeria and why President Trump's words are so incredibly important. Hang loose. We'll be back in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. This is very true. The amount people spend on their car payment is crazy. Over $1,000 for a car payment. I can't do the math. And yes, when you have to buy a new car, you're spending real money right now. My oldest had a problem with their car. It's my old H3, which I love the H3, but it's a 2009. Problems are going to come. And it was like, okay, what would it take to replace? Are you just going to get a beater? Or you want something that's going to actually last a little bit? And you start doing the math. You're like, oh, this is just going to suck. It's going to suck so very much in every way. But I don't know a way around it. You do the best you can. And there are deals out there for sure. The deals still cost. And when it's your car versus a car for your kid, or like it's not like, hey, I'm ready to get the new car. It's I have to. It's when you have to that it feels disastrous. You had a monthly payment quoted as high as $1,200 a month with $10,000 down. What the hell are you buying? What $95,000 vehicle were you purchasing? $10,000 down, $1,200 a month. That car better come with a leggy blonde and a free bowl of soup. Good gosh. Anywho, this story about Christians is outrageously important. And it's over there at TonyKatz.com, to which you should be a subscriber immediately, if not sooner. Head on over and subscribe to TonyKatz.com. Go do that. I think the story here is a little larger than people realize, because it's really a story about what is this plan for survival, and are we even honest about what it is that's happening all around us? And being honest about what is happening regarding Islamists, well, that scares some people. That frightens some people. But that's their problem, not ours. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. As I said, that is the aging room. Come on, there it is. That is the Maduro. Now, the Nicaragua is where you want to be. That's the one they're most known for, and they do some lovely cigars. This is an easy smoke, a basic cigar right here, but perfect for the show, as I don't get to smoke like I normally do because I'm talking. Meanwhile, speaking of talking, let's do some radio. Let's go. President Trump threatening to go into Nigeria. He wrote a post, did the president, putting it on Truth Social. If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria, and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible atrocities. I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attacked our cherished Christians. Warning, the Nigerian government better move fast. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. I appreciate noting what is happening to Christians in Nigeria, just like we should note what is happening to Christians around the globe. And I think that Bill Maher deserves a tip of the cap, because he did bring this up on the show, and he's got a larger platform a few weeks ago, and I think it has become a larger conversation because of that. He was talking to Van Jones at the time. The issue here is not Nigerians. The issue here is Islamists. No society around the globe can exist in some level of coexistence with Islamists, with people who are believers in Sharia, with people who have this religious fundamentalism. Cannot be done. Christians cannot, Jews cannot, Muslims cannot. It can't be done. And it seems to be very hard for some people to say so. I am thankful I am not one of those people. No society can thrive when that society introduces Islamists to it. Can't be done. Christians being killed with reckless abandon. In the first 200 days plus of 2025, more than 7,000 Christians have been killed. Since 2009, Boko Haram, these Islamists, this was the group where Michelle Obama thought she was doing something by holding up a sign that says, "Bring our girls back." Remember when they got kidnapped? That was Boko Haram, and people didn't know what Boko Haram was. And you thought some stupid photo from the former First Lady, which, speaking of the former First Lady, could you please stop talking about how somehow life wasn't been fair to you and somehow you were under the gun and somehow you're still could you stop it? Stop it already. The pity party is over. You don't think America was good to you with 8 years in the White House and a Netflix deal? I don't know what you were expecting, but I don't want to hear any more. I was never a fan of your husband. He's an awful guy. I always thought you got you got hit unacceptably. You didn't deserve the hits your husband got. I always thought that was weird. But now you've just proven that you want the hits. It's just a constant complaining, no thanks. Listening to you is like reading Twitter all day. No thanks. Since 2009, Boko Haram Islamists have slaughtered more than 125,000 Christians, and 19,000 churches have been destroyed. Of course, they should get our help. They should get the help of the free world. But if the free world really wants to help, they would put an end to Islamists wherever they are. This becomes a much tougher conversation because in many ways, damage is done. At least that's the argument that's made. Look what's happened in the UK. Look what's happened in France. Look what's happened in the whole of Europe. Look at what's happened with unfettered immigration, unchecked immigration. Look what you've allowed in the country. How do you now go about solving that problem in the UK? I have made the argument that Prince William will be the last King of England. Prince George, his eldest son, will never get the opportunity. Country can't survive. The country cannot survive. And the only way it will is if the Church of England actually wants to remain the Church of England. And that means you're going to have to remove the Islamists from your midst. Kenneth in the chat room says you can't use a religious argument for military force. It has to be presented as a threat. Islamists are a threat. Because if you want to say that it is religion, you can, but it is clearly a political movement. And I can make that argument all day. I make it without apology. The only way the United Kingdom can remain a united, never mind the kingdom, is to remove the Islamist threat. That's going to lead to a lot of fighting. Yup. There's a story out of Dearborn. Dearborn residents startled by FBI raids connected to thwarted Halloween terror plot. We discussed this story that took place last week, where these raids took place in Dearborn and a place called Inkster, Inkster. It was Kash Patel, the FBI director, saying that they had thwarted a potential terrorist attack. Homes were raided, multiple people were arrested. Now, we don't have the story yet. We don't have the data yet. We don't have everything as of yet. The individuals range in age from 16 to the age of 20. This is all we know right now. We don't have anything else to this story about what it is that has taken place. We do know that Dearborn has a large Muslim population. At this moment, I don't have anything yet. I don't have anything about who was arrested. Oh, wait, I do. Literally just coming out. I was doing the searching. 2 men are facing federal charges in connection with what the FBI says was a foiled plot for a Halloween weekend terrorist attack in Detroit. Mahmoud Ali and Majid Mahmoud are accused of, quote, receiving and transferring and attempting and conspiring to transfer firearms and ammunition, knowing and having reasonable cause to believe that the firearms and ammunition would be used to commit a crime, a federal crime of terrorism, a 73-page criminal complaint. They will be in a Detroit courtroom this afternoon. Conspirators include a juvenile. They had allegedly traveled multiple times over the past few months scouting possible LGBTQ plus friendly attack locations. There is so much here. There is so much to dig in on. Now, first, it is not surprising to anyone who heard that this took place in Dearborn, the names of the accused. I do not know their story. I do not know if they are American citizens. I do not know if they're immigrants. I don't have that answer. The complaint says that the alleged plot was, quote, on behalf of the designated foreign terrorist organization ISIS. And one of these guys bought more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition that, quote, could be used in the AR-15 style rifles he and the other guy had purchased. We have to be people who can admit that there is an American way of life and some things are not compatible. No Islamist is compatible with the Western way of life. No Islamist is compatible with any way of life outside that the Islamist desires. Because the Islamist only knows my way or you die, and that is it. Don't even tell me about the jizya, paying the tax. Don't tell me about living under subjugation. It is my way or die. I've said before that Islam needs a reformation and needs it bad. But I take a look at the story out of Nigeria. I take a look at this attack on Christians. And I take a look at stories like this, and I take a look at, as I've discussed, the United Kingdom. And I ask myself, what happens here? You say to me, Tony, we're a nation that has religious freedom. Thank goodness we do. Are we sure we're talking about this as religion? Well, Tony, what are you suggesting? I'm not suggesting anything. I am stating that Islam needs a reformation. I am stating that the Islamist is not religious in any way other than just as a level of code. Can we at least admit to the basics? Well, Tony, that's just bigoted against Muslims. I reject the premise of that statement. I have got stories. Why can't I connect the dots? No, wait, I can. Why won't other people connect the dots? And why will they tell me I'm some kind of bigot if I do? There is a fundamental issue happening around the globe, and that fundamental issue, whether in Dearborn or whether in Nigeria or whether in Gaza, has to do with Islamists who want to kill. What kind of a rational person doesn't say so? Winston Churchill. Was it going back to 1935? Maybe it was earlier. Winston Churchill warned in the House of Commons day in and day out, again and again and again and again, that Hitler is the threat. That's the threat to human civilization. That is not just the threat to the empire. That is the threat to survival writ large. Every day he was laughed at, and every day he must have felt humiliated. And every day he said it again, and every day he was dismissed as a warmonger. First you lead us to the Dardanelles, and now you want to what? Repeat the folly. And Neville Chamberlain, who he had worked with, comes back as prime minister. There will be peace in our time and an accord with the Germans. And Winston Churchill still said, this is a fool's errand. This is a mistake. Here we are with the enemy facing us. Will we not prepare and confront it before it is too late? And then what the Germans? They took the rest of Czechoslovakia. And then they made their moves on France, and might have a little bit of the timeline off there. And the British people said, oh gosh, look at that. I guess he was right. I do not believe that the prime minister of the United Kingdom today, Keir Starmer, could save the UK. I don't think he has the strength. I don't even think he has the conviction. He is not the man. He is the Neville Chamberlain. In order for the UK to be saved, it is Prince William who has to look at his subjects and say, we must survive. In order for the world to survive, it must, for all its differences, say, none of us can survive if the Islamist threat is left unchecked. I know that this is hard for some, but the reality has been in our face for decades. It was in our face when they threw Leon Klinghoffer off the Achille Lauro. Wheelchair and all. The Islamist threat is real, and we must either deal with it now or it will deal with us tomorrow. There is no other way to view it. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. I was just writing a quick note to myself. Do you mind? Do you mind if it is? I'm just going to write a quick note. There we go. Done, and done. Very good. All right. I have to change one word. All right. Let's see what happens there. As I told producer Landon during the break, that a commentary about Islamists is the kind of thing that puts a target on you. You hope not. You hope more people recognize what the truth is, but what are you supposed to do? Not notice what's happening? We should notice what's happening at all times. We shouldn't kid ourselves. Meanwhile, back to the show.
With the split screen of the Gatsby party at the same time that Americans were about to lose their food assistance. But the way that they've been handling this is by trying to deflect. In fact, we have some sound from Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins talking about how they are rooting out fraud. Let's take a listen.
It is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer. So we want to, number one, most important, get the government open, make sure the people that really need this money are going to get it. But guess what? There's a new sheriff in town. His name is Donald Trump, and this program will be reformed. We will hold people accountable, and we will be able to help those who really need it.
What's wrong with reforming SNAP benefits? Nothing, I say. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Great to be with you. That was Brooke Rollins right there on Fox News. Engaging the idea of reform. If people are abusing the program, shouldn't we stop that from happening? Now take it back to MSNBC that seems to be outraged about this and is doing an interview with Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, a member of the squad.
I guess one way to keep people from fraudulently claiming benefits is by making sure no one can claim benefits, no?
First and foremost, this is the most corrupt administration in history. And then they're cruel enough to create work requirements for hungry people to get SNAP. But for the last month, they have not shown up for work, and they've been on a taxpayer-funded vacation.
That is not even an argument. But what is so cruel about working? Do you want to know why I'm not a progressive? That's why. That's why. Ayanna Pressley is why. What is cruel about working? If you are able-bodied, what is cruel about this? What is cruel is creating a world of dependency and keep people locked into a system where they are dependent on government. That's obscene. It's not kind. It's not good. It's not healthy. I mean, this is a very long-standing conversation now. But progressives like Ayanna Pressley never stop. So let's at least start with the baseline. You are not kind, Ayanna Pressley. You are not decent. You are not good. If you want people to be in a cycle of dependency where they are dependent on the government for their basic sustenance and survival, that's evil. Stop. You're not tough. You gotta cut that one out right at the quick. And you're not smart, you're not special. It's evil. Wanting people to be dependent, wanting the people to have to come to you with their hands open and say, thank you for the scrap. Oh, yes, I'll vote for you because that's the deal because you feed me. No, we should stop that. And Massachusetts should vote better. But one thing at a time. This is Tony Katz today. These people never stop, they never rest, they never quit, to paraphrase Michael Walsh. They never, ever, ever, ever do. So I'm going to, here's a good story. Very cool guy. Has a company. I do not have any financial connection to them whatsoever. They are not advertisers. I don't do any work with them as of yet. Maybe one day I will. They're called Tactical Traps, tacticaltraps.com. And they create the shelves and the fixtures that there's RFID and all of a sudden it opens up and that's where you can keep your firearm. Like one of those. It's like wall decor, and then it's got, it's a shelf, and then bloop, there's your firearm. Very, very cool. And they had made for me a whiskey barrel, chunk of whiskey barrel, and had one of these compartments in it. It's very cool. There's no place I can hang it. It's too big. It's too heavy. The studio can't do it. So I reached out to him and I'm like, I love you, man, but I can't. I really appreciate that you would do this for me. I can't do it. I can't use it. So now they're like, hey, don't worry, we'll take it back. We'll find another use for it, but pick something else. We'd love for you to have something. And I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I have got an event happening on January 24th. I've been doing live events and it's been going great. And the next one is January 24th. It is going to be spectacular. Spectacular. Now, it is probably the most expensive ticket I've ever done. Trust me when I say there's a reason. And I only hope that I can announce it this week because I think we're burning daylight. I think I will have them switch it out with me, and then I'll give it away at the event. I think that's what's coming. That's what I think we're going to do. I will give it away at the event. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the grand prize giveaway, Producer Landon. I didn't know I was having a grand prize. Whose event is this? Right? Oh, they do have a wall bar that's made out of bourbon barrels. Like maybe I'll just take that and use it for myself. No, I'll give it away. I think that's what I do. Anyway, it was really nice of them. So you can check them out for yourselves. Again, I do not have any financial connection to them at all. At all. I just I dig what they do. I dig what they do. I like seeing people try and create good things. So there it is. Anyway, January 24th, you should get ready. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely incredible. Are we ready? Are we back there yet, Producer Landon? All right, let's bring it back to it.
Gas being used in a Chicago residential neighborhood and the smashing of car windows. Have some of these raids gone too far?
No, I think they haven't gone far enough because we've been held back by the judges, by the liberal judges that were put in by Biden and by Obama.
You're okay with those tactics?
Yeah, because you have to get the people out. You know, you have to look at the people. Many of them are murderers. Many of them are people that were thrown out of their countries because they were, criminals.
That angers a lot of people. Angers a lot of people that President Trump could so callously say, no, we're not going far enough. There's a real conversation to be had about what kind of nation we want to be, how in the world we run as a nation, and whether or not we're serious about changing things for the better. Tony Katz today, good to be with you. I agree that if someone is walking down the street and three guys in some camo type outfits, fully armed with masks on, say, prove that you live in the country, screw that. No. If they know who they are arresting, I have very little problem with it. If they're just asking people, do you have your papers? Nah. No, I'm not down. And one of the things that I want to make sure I'm always discussing is that I am an absolute believer that we have great amounts of data on people we know shouldn't be in the country. Let's go get those people. Let's not delay. Let's not prevent ourselves from doing what is necessary. Let's go get that done. The people who are upset by this aren't upset by the small amount of cases where somebody is improperly detained, but rather the concept itself that we would admit that some people don't belong in the United States. They are most disgusted by the idea that we meant it when we voted for Trump. They're disgusted by the idea that there is a standard at all. Apoplectic. They cannot be allowed to win elections. I mean, you got to vote against them. You got to focus on running better candidates. You got to focus on supporting those candidates. This brings us to the conversation about redistricting. In California, they've got Prop 50 because they need to bring it to the people. What does Prop 50 do? Prop 50 proposes new lines for California's 52 congressional districts and would get rid of 5 seats. Why are they getting rid of 5 seats? Well, not getting rid of 5 seats. They're getting rid of 5 Republican seats because they don't like what Texas did. Texas engaged redistricting. I have been following this story here in my Indiana because it's been a hot subject. Yes, it is clear that this is something that the White House wants. But just like the removing of people from the country who are here illegally, a lot of people voted for President Trump because they didn't want the same old, and now they're not getting the same old. They're like, oh, wait, I'm not sure I want this. Well, what do you want? Well, I want things to be better, but I just want to be nice about it. What does that even mean? What kind of cowardly claptrap nonsense is that? What do you mean you want to be nice about it? Someone's in the country illegally. Well, we should get rid of them. Well, okay, we're getting rid of them. Oh, not like that. No. We should bake them cookies and ask them if they'll go. Well, we baked them the cookies. They took the cookies and they said no. Well, all right, we'll bake them more cookies, but we'll really ask them to go this time. At some moment, you have to remove the person who is in your house uninvited. That's all there is. Redistricting is a political process. It is legal, 1,000% legal. And as I watched there on over the weekend, I was at a listening session. It was a listening session about redistricting that a state senator was having. And it was an hour and 45 minutes away or whatever it was. And I drove down there and I sat and I watched. Bunch of people all over the age of 60, mostly women, and nobody was in favor of redistricting. I don't know where the Republicans were. I know that in that county, they had a Republican breakfast that morning. No one thought to come over to where this event was happening and show their support for redistricting. See, that's weak Republicans. That is disorganized Republicans. Well, Tony, you got to understand that they've got jobs and they've got lives. Oh, okay. I have heard that conversation, that story for as long as I have been doing this job. Republicans have jobs. They don't have time for this. They don't have time for that. Okay, Democrats win. Pick the subject. Pick the subject. Democrats win. What do you mean you don't have time on a Saturday to show up for 32 minutes? What does that mean? Not showing up is letting the other side win. Not showing up is giving up. Oh, they have jobs. You have to fight. You got to show up. If you don't show up, don't expect good things to happen because they can't happen. But while I was there, I heard a bunch of things from these people. First, while they all, not all, I mean, everybody, the majority came across as polite to the state senator who listened to everybody. It was 2.5 hours that I was there because that was the scheduled time, and he listened. Trump a pedophile, Trump bad, Republicans bad, Trump this, Trump that. I know fascism when I see it. Oh, holy hell. Basically, if there was a talking point on MSNBC, it came out from the crowd assembled. The talking points involve things like constitutionality. And I realized that America needs a civics lesson very, very bad. The Constitution does not say you can only redistrict once every 10 years. It calls for a census once every 10 years. And from there, you engage redistricting. Redistricting is a political process that state legislatures engage, and they can do so anytime they choose. Now, different states might have different rules, but states that do not have these nonsense independent commissions, they can go about redrawing the maps anytime they want, as many times as they want a year. Redistricting has happened over in the course of our history, mid-decade redistricting. This is not new. It is rare, but it is not new. And it is not unconstitutional. It's not against the federal constitution. It's not against the state constitution in Indiana. And the amount of people who said that was an overwhelming sum, and they were all wrong. So they were either ignorant or they were lying. I'm willing actually to believe the former because we would all agree we need a civics lesson in America like nothing else. But the one thing that I heard that was so unbelievable was this is just a power grab. Is that right? Tell me more, Nancy Pelosi.
So here we are at this moment of truth for America. Other days when we've been here, there's been a sign that says, California will make the difference. And California will make the difference in everything for our country.
Oh, good Lord. Reason enough to do anything opposite of what they're doing. Now, I don't think Nancy Pelosi is going to curse their producer, Landon, but I haven't been able to hear it all, so finger on the dump button. Also, you've seen the debt, you've seen the homelessness, you've seen the issues, and you've seen the poop-laden streets of San Francisco. Who wants California leading the way? No one? No one? No, that's no one.
For goodness sake, we must win. For goodness sake, for people to have their health care and not to have the prices increase, and Medicare, Medicaid for people to be pushed off, millions of people pushed off. And again, Medicare, $500 billion taken off. And why? To give a tax cut to the richest people in America. That's not for goodness sake.
I hope they're booing Nancy Pelosi, who made all her money doing stock trades with insider trading while she allegedly served the people. All right, maybe not all the money, but I'd like to know the number.
And now we came into a weekend, on November 1st, when people would start losing their SNAP benefits. They told me not to say SNAP, but to say food stamps. And what did the president do? Had a great Gatsby party at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, not all of us can sit at home and eat $8 a pint ice cream, Nancy.
Instead of feeding the American people.
Again, the ice cream.
My colleagues who are here, and Zoe will be introducing them, our colleagues who are here know that we passed a law that is the law that says even in time of government being shut down, the money is there to feed the people on SNAP. The money is there. And he says, well, I got to talk to my lawyers and all this stuff. No, the money is there. It's the law of the land. For goodness sake, when I was...
This is a rally in favor of something called Prop 50 in California to redistrict. Their redistricting is retribution for Texas. The concept of retribution belongs to Texans and Texans alone. They get to decide whether or not they like what their state legislators have done, and they can vote those people out. And when Texas decided to redistrict, I had no thoughts of it happening in my state. And then California decided retribution is the game, and I said, okay, redistrict the state of Indiana. Redistrict North Carolina. Maryland, Democrats are now going to redistrict. Power grab. I wonder what those people who attended the same thing I did this weekend in Indiana, what they would say to this. Wait, is this power grab good? But in Indiana, Republican power grab, feel the air quotes, is bad? This is politics. And I'd appreciate it if everybody acted like a grown-up for a moment. Democrats have no issue playing the political game. And they have no issue saying that if they have power, they'll continue supporting illegal immigrants. They have no issue saying they'll push for government-run health care. They have no issue with it. Politics is power. And so one can decide to use it or one can decide to lose it. We are the ones who decide who has the power because ultimately it should be ours. Power grab. Were these people all children who didn't know what it is we're talking about here? When California does it, it's good. When Indiana does it, it's bad. No. For every state legislator in my state listening, redistrict. Do it now. Don't apologize for it. Don't. There are greater things at play here than just our state, but it will help our state. And if you want to talk about power grab, Nancy Pelosi is your poster child. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. What are you doing, guys? You tell me. You are where all the action is, all the cool stuff is. Me, I'm just searching if anything new is happening right in front of our faces. You're always keeping an eye on stuff, right? What is that right there? Neat. All right, let me go to the comments. Yes, it was a salsa break. That's the way it is. And when you get your civics from MSNBC or Facebook, you're doomed. Yes, that is absolutely true. I could add VIP tickets to the person who gets me the most Substack subscriptions. Yes, Tony, that is true. TonyKatz.com. It's growing. It's been kind of groovy. And we're building that up. So I didn't get to finish. Go to TonyKatz.com, by the way, and subscribe right now. The event. So the next big one is January. I may get one more in before the year is out. I might get one in early December. We'll see. We will see. But my plan for 2026 is 9 events. Some large scale, some smaller scale. I just dig it. And I love doing it. And what I'm hoping is that with some of the other stations, I get a chance to head out there. I get a chance to travel it out and see people where they are. I'm hoping that comes. That's what I'm trying to get accomplished for sure. So hopefully that will be the case. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Chris Van Hollen being honest. There it is. There it is right there. Now, if I do this, boom. All right, so it just shows up. So why can't I just do that? But no, I want to do that. But I don't want it to not show up. But it does that. It just cuts right out. I gotta figure that one out. Was that weird? Did I just give everybody a stroke? Sorry. Coming back to the radio show, guys.
A lot about numbers this way and that this morning. In the brand new CNN poll, we did ask voters what their opinions of the parties in Congress were. 29% favorable for Democrats, 55% unfavorable. Why don't people like you, Senator?
Well, John, it's good to be with you this morning. The short answer is, at least for some time, Democrats did not see the party in Washington fighting back more strongly against Donald Trump and his attacks on our democracy, on his failure to bring down prices. But also Democrats do need to provide a better alternative to Donald Trump. It cannot only be about going after Donald Trump. It needs to be about presenting alternatives. In fact, I'm working on some proposals right now on the tax front to increase taxes on the wealthiest and make sure that middle-class families, working-class families get relief.
So Chris Van Hollen, the senator from Maryland who likes to have margaritas with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who beats women, according to the reporting, hits on it. Democrats are not popular because they have no policies. The only thing they have is Trump hate. And so what's his plan? Get some policies out there. What's a good policy? Raise taxes on the rich. Oh, God. How do they win it all? It's the same stuff we've been hearing for 2 decades. That's your great policy? It's not about manufacturing. It's not about national security. It's not about cyber. Raise taxes on the rich. We really have to work overtime to make sure these people don't get in power. We really do. This is Tony Katz today. Gosh, that is special. When I say special, I mean pathetic and weak. Good Lord. Oh, that's something else. Guys, you are appreciated. You truly are. You are appreciated like the good people at Defiance Beef. Oh, so delicious. I made ribeyes yesterday. Oh, I also did the chicken, but the chicken didn't come from Defiance Beef. I'll tell you that in a second. DefianceBeef.com, you can order an entire cow. You can order an entire cow. It is amazing, and it's so good. Aged 21 days, so tender, so flavorful, fantastic. All you do is go to DefianceBeef.com, use promo code EatDrinkSmoke, and $150 off your order. Quarter cow, half cow, full cow, butchered the way you want, and boom, delivered to your door. Frozen, packed in dry ice, cryovac, perfect. What do they call that? Like vacuum sealed, and each steak, strips, ribeyes, tenderloins, stew meat, chuck roasts, short ribs, everything. I got the quarter cow, had a 6-pound brisket. Oh, next one's a full cow, ain't no question. No question. Daddy likes to eat good. Go to DefianceBeef.com. Use promo code EatDrinkSmoke. Get $150 off your order. Incredible. Do it right now. I don't even know what you're possibly waiting for. But I have the video out, and I purchased this from Charbroil. I don't have any financial connection to Charbroil. What they call an infrared oilless turkey fryer. I tried it with a chicken, a 6-pound chicken, and so it's propane based. It's a deep fried. I've done a deep fried turkey before, and it's tremendous. Deep fried is here. This was about here. It's very good. It's very good. There's no oil. There's no splatter. It was the skin gets super crispy. The bird itself was juicy, and this was me just taking the chicken, rinsing it off, drying it, cleaning it out, seasoning in. I didn't brine it. I didn't do anything. So a brining, you can brine the chicken, but absolutely I would brine the turkey. It was fascinating how cool this thing is. So I'm going to try it with prime ribs. I'm going to do all sorts of stuff with it and see how it works out, because it's full 360 kind of cooking. Terrific. So check for that video. Go to Tony Katz on YouTube. I think it's there, and you'll see it there. Or go to eatdrinksmokeshow.com and check it out. I appreciate you. We've got more radio to go. That will take place over at WIBC.com. So check that out right over there. And the live stream returns tomorrow at noon. Got more videos going up, building out what we're doing here. Thank you guys so much for being part of it. The radio show continues, so go to WIBC.com, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Take care.